Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and you're all very welcome to tonight's Herdwatch webinar, which is all about medicines compliance. My name is Owen Maloney. I'm Head of Member Experience here at Herdwatch, and I'm delighted to be joined this evening by Chris Good. Chris is a subject matter expert here at Herdwatch, and he's going to be helping me out this evening showcasing how easy it is to put your medicines into the app, run reports, create treatments, etc. So thanks for joining us, Chris. How are you today?
Good, thanks, Owen. Looking forward to this evening's webinar.
Good stuff. So, yeah, you're going to be hearing lots from myself and Chris on tonight's webinar. Everything around medicines is going to be covered. So, I suppose just to kind of give you a quick overview of what we're going to be looking at. So, over the next 30 to 40 minutes, we're going to show you exactly how to add your medicines into the Herdwatch app, but also how to record treatments for your groups of animals or for individual animals. We'll also then show you how to record vet call-outs. So what do you do when the vet calls out to the farm, maybe if you have a sick animal? And then also how to run your actual compliance reports when you do have your farm quality assurance or board B audit if it's in Ireland. So when you have that inspection or audit, how do you get that information back? We'll show you how easy that is to do as well. Once we're finished demoing that kind of stuff, Chris is then going to show you some of the new stuff that we've been working on. So we've had previous webinars on a lot of the new features that we've added in this year. So we've had a webinar on our farm maps and on our milk module, but Chris is going to take you through some of the other new stuff that we've been working hard on this year, including the updates to the animal's profile page, how we can now add some picture records to most of the tasks within Herdwatch, and then our whole performance area, which includes weights performance, milk module, and there's stuff in there for around buying and selling animals and your bulk tank recording. And as always, we're going to finish tonight's webinar with some questions and answers as well. So if you've been on the webinars before, you'll know what to do. But if this is your first webinar, if you have a question you'd like myself or Chris to answer around anything related to what we're covering or using the app, especially around medicines, just pop them into the chat facility at the bottom. We're going to leave some time, as always, at the end of tonight's webinar, and we're going to try and answer as many as we can. But we do have Mervyn and James that are helping out as well this evening. So they're going to be helping throughout the webinar to answer as many questions as you have. So before we get started with our demo, I just want to tell you a little bit about, I suppose, the Herdwatch story to date, if you've recently joined Herdwatch or if you haven't been on our webinars before. So since we launched in 2014, Herdwatch has become the market-leading app in both Ireland and the UK, and we now have over 15,500 members that are using our app on a daily basis to save themselves time, remove paperwork, but also to make better informed decisions on their farm. In that time, we've managed to download just shy of 2 million animals from the relevant departments of agriculture, so Ag Food here in Ireland. We're connected with APHIS in Northern Ireland, and then across in the UK, we link in with both BCMS and Scott EID. We've over 1.8 million calves that have been registered using the Herdwatch app, and we're really hoping to hit the 2 million milestone in the coming months, especially with spring calving around the corner. And our members tell us as well that on average, when they're at their busiest, the Herdwatch app is saving them up to 3 hours per week on paperwork. So as I said a couple of seconds ago, we launched in 2014, but I suppose since we launched back then, we've continued to engage and listen to our members and our farmers that are using the app to help us decide what's the next thing or what's the next benefit that we can get in there for you. So you can see our roadmap and where we've come from since we started in 2014. We launched in the UK in early 2017. And from there, then we've added so many numerous benefits, new features to the app. Farm Medicine Scanner came online in 2018 and all the way up to last year when we actually brought out our new Herdwatch Next Generation app. And this year, then you can see that we've continued to innovate. We've added batch calf registration for our farmers in Ireland and up north. We've added verified by Herdwatch when you're buying and selling animals through Done Deal. And even in the past couple of months, we've added the likes of our milk module, our farm maps recently in the last 2 months, our milk module, as I said, and obviously you can now add in your bulk tank collections as well if you're dairy farming. So Chris, I might just let everybody know why should they record their medicines in Herdwatch? What are the benefits of doing that?
Look, there's loads of benefits to using Herdwatch for your medicines on your farm. The likes of eliminating your farm paperwork. Look, the last thing you want to be settling into every evening is writing down what you did that day into a book. So look, Herdwatch allows you to record your medicines on the spot on the farm for any quality assurance or any scheme. Your evenings with paperwork, look, they're eliminated altogether with using it. Your medicine purchases, your medicine usage can be done all on the spot, whether you're out on the farm, outside of the crush, or you just remember to you dose cattle that morning. You can just go in and do it there and then. The app allows you to make a lot better decisions, kind of track your purchases, track your treatments, and what you're doing, say, on the farm, and keeping full records of that. And the app is very easy, say, in the sense of adding in your purchases, say, with using of our scanner to scan in the medicine when you get it off your supplier or your vet. Use the QR code scanner or the barcode scanner to bring in the purchase into the app. Then just apply that treatment to the animals. And say, with that, then your farm records are kept up to date and safe with our cloud system. So you have no fear of, say, you have it wrote down on a piece of paper and it's thrown in the Jeep, you're not going to lose it. It's all backed up with our cloud system here in the office.
Lovely stuff. Thanks, Chris. So I suppose at this stage, we're actually going to dive into demoing Herdwatch now and showing you how quick and how easy you can actually use the Herdwatch app to record all these events as they're happening in real time on your farm. So we're going to bring up the Herdwatch app here and we'll get going from there. So as I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with now at this stage, this is the home screen of Herdwatch. And you can see that it shows you straight away the amount of animals you have in your herd. But you'll also notice in the bottom right-hand corner, you have your orange plus button. So the way to think about this, if you're new to Herdwatch especially, and you maybe haven't recorded or used the app to record anything up to now, your plus button is always your start point. So if you hit there, it's going to allow you to add whatever you want to do to the app. So when you select your plus button, it brings up all the options of what you can record and what you can do using the Herdwatch app. And the first thing you'll see here is our remedy or medicine purchase record. So the way the app works is when you want to use medicines, you have to do the purchase side of your medicines for compliance before you can actually use the medicines on your farm. So the first thing we're going to do here tonight is we're going to actually record a medicine purchase. So when I click in and select medicine purchase, it brings me into a list of all the approved bovine and sheep and cattle remedies. They're all preloaded into the app for you. And you have a couple of options here. The simplest one really is if you have the medicine with you or if you know what medicine it is you're after buying. So for this instance, I'm going to go with something that a lot of farmers are maybe using this time of the year, getting animals in for winter housing. So you find that you can find the medicine really quickly. You type the name of it at the top. As you start typing, it filters the list down and it'll find that particular medicine for you.
Just a note there, the scan option is available on this page. So say if you do have the barcode, you do have the remedy in your hand, you're able to scan it in from here.
Yeah. So if you're using the app on your phone there, as Chris was saying, it's so straightforward, so easy. You know, if you're sitting in the car in the Jeep after you come out of your farm store, come out of your vets, or if you have the medicine to hand, you know, you can just hit the scan option on your phone and just scan the QR code or scan the barcode, and it's going to preload a lot of the information about the medicine for you. So when I select the EndoFluke here, you can see straight away the app is actually asking me if I want a copy from a previous purchase. So on this account, we've obviously recorded a purchase of EndoFluke before. So because the withdrawals were entered at that point, we don't have to record them again. We can just select yes here. And if I scroll down here towards the withdrawals area, you can see that the withdrawals that we entered previously on the previous purchase of EndoFluke are going to stay there for us as well. Now, you can obviously change that if you like, if there was a mistake made or if the withdrawals have changed, but they very rarely do. So just to go back up the top to show you what you need to record, I suppose the important things to watch out for here and the tips we can give you is the headings that are in red or have the asterisks. These are required. You have to fill these in in order to be able to save this medicine and use it on the farm, because this is information that's required for your compliance audit. So the first thing you're going to need to record is your actual date of purchase. So by default, the app will select today's date, but obviously if it's something that happened a couple of days ago or even a couple of weeks ago or whenever, you can change it back to that date. So if it wasn't bought on today, the 26th, if it was a week ago, you can just go back very quickly, very easily, go back to the 19th or whatever date it was that you purchased the medicine. Unit of measure. So generally, you're going to be selecting probably milliliters or tubes here, depending on what you're using. But there are other options there. You can obviously select your liters and grams. But more often than not, and for this particular instance, it's going to be milliliters. And then you just need to enter how much of the actual medicine you bought. So I'll just put in a big amount here just to show you. You also need to select where you bought the medicine. So as Chris was saying a couple of minutes ago, if you buy it off your vet, if you've been at the farm store, you know, all your suppliers are going to be in here. So I'm going to select my vet for this particular purchase.
With the option here as well,
yeah, sorry,
sheep withdrawals. Just there we have the option with sheep withdrawals that it's a treatment. Using it on sheep, if you just click the little toggle here, you're able to enter the sheep withdrawals for that treatment. The system will remember it then for the next time you go to use it.
Yeah, so it's very handy for maybe farmers that are watching this evening that are maybe mixed. You might have dairy and sheep, or you could have beef and sheep. So obviously the medicine could have different withdrawal periods based on the type of animal you're using. So in Herdwatch now, you're able to enter obviously the cattle withdrawals and your sheep withdrawals. And when you use the medicine, if you select sheep, it'll obviously pick up on the sheep withdrawals rather than the cattle. I'm going to leave that empty for now because we're just going to use this on cattle this evening. And you can see that I already have that selected from previously. And I just want to also select my vet as my prescribing vet. Another little tip, I know Chris touched on it there a couple of seconds ago, when it comes to compliance as well, to get your batch numbers and expiry dates into the app. You can obviously manually add them in, but if you do have the box or the bottle that the QR code is on, there's an option here to use the phone to scan these, and this will automatically bring in the batch number for that particular medicine and the expiry date, which you might need for your farm quality assurance. I'm just going to manually put it in here because I'm on the computer to show you what it looks like. And I'm just going to give an expiry of, say, this day next year. You can also always select your treatment reasons as well. So we've liver fluke selected here for this particular reason. And there's plenty of other optional fields as well, such as quantity spilled, cost, purchased by. And you'll also see down here, Chris is going to touch on this later on, you can now add an image when you're recording an actual task in Herdwatch. So, you know, be it a medicine purchase or something around your animals, there's an option there now to add your image. Once you're happy enough, you can just hit save. And that's the purchase record for our bottle of Endofluke done. It's in the app now. It's gone into your medicines cabinet in Herdwatch, and it's ready to be used whenever you want to create treatment. So when I click on home, I can pop into compliance, remedies and treatments. And in here in my cabinet, you can now see that on the 19th to the 10th, I have my purchase of Endofluke. So very simple and very, very quick and easy to do. The next thing we're going to show you and demo is how easy and quick it is to actually use this bottle of medicine now and dose cattle. So very quick and very easy to do. I'm on my home screen again. So as I said at the start of the purchase record, start with your orange plus button. But this time, instead of going purchase, I'm able to select cattle treatment. What happens here is the app will show you what medicines you've already purchased and are there to be used in Herdwatch. So you can see my purchase, my 5,000 ml of Endofluke is here. So I'm just going to select that. Now you'll notice here that the administered by date is still, it picks up on today's date again. So if it is something you used, you know, from the 19th on, you can see that it won't let you use it before the purchase date of the medicine, you know, but if you use it the day after, you can just change the date there again. The course is something we'll come to in a couple of minutes when we do our vet call out. But for compliance here, I do need to select who administered the medicine. So I'll just pick Chris here. And the dose per animal per day, we can say it was 10. If it was a different dose rate, if it was at 20, you can just change it here very quickly and very easily. But you'll also notice that the withdrawal periods have come across from the purchase site. So I don't need to re-enter them. And the app is able to calculate that for me then going forward is what's 47 days for my milk withdrawal from today's date or from whatever date I used it. So once you're happy enough, I just can select next. And this is where we actually select the animal or the group of animals that we actually administered the medicine to. So we have a number of options here in terms of finding animals and selecting animals on this treatment. So we obviously have our groups here that you might have made up before. If it was one individual animal, you can obviously just search by their tag number to very quickly and easily find that particular animal, select them. But we also have the smart list. I know, Chris, it's something you maybe wanted to pick up on was using our smart list.
With the smart list, there are pre-populated groups created by Herdwatch. So as you can see here, there's a range of different groups between starting from 0 to 6 months, going up in age, up as far as 24 months plus. Then we've also the likes of, say, male animals in herd, female animals in herd, animals that you just purchased in. So if you were after buying in a batch of cows and you're looking to treat them, it's very easy to find them by going into the bought in smart list. There's loads of other ones there as well, say like cows not dried off. We have our dairy animals. You can set the purpose each animal then, whether it be fattening then, and say the fattening animal will show on the fattening animal smart list.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris. So for this particular treatment, we're actually going to say that we dosed all the calves. So what we have done here is within our groups, you can see that we've created some groups, but I have a group of 37 calves that were born this year on the farm. So rather than having to use the filter options or use the smart list, I can just pop into this group and I can select all those 37 animals very, very quickly, very, very easily, and I can just save. And that's my treatment record for those 37 animals recorded, and you can see yourself how quick that took. So literally 37 animals recorded. Peace of mind that you're covered for your compliance, and the job is done on the spot, as Chris was saying a couple of minutes ago. So the last thing in terms of recording medicines and the actual treatment side of things that we'll show you this evening is how to record an actual vet call out. So slightly different to if you're using medicines yourself. If your vet has called out to the farm, if you have a sick animal or if something is going on that you've required veterinary assistance, you can actually use Herdwatch, and there's an option here to record the vet call out itself in the app. So once again, once we click on our orange plus button from the home screen, you'd see that there's a vet call out option. Essentially what we're doing here is we're merging the purchase and the usage all within one task. So when your vet calls out and he maybe gives you a bottle of medicine to use in an animal for a couple of days. So I'm going to go with Alamycin here because I know it's a prescription medicine to use for this particular instance. This is asking me here, so Alamycin can obviously be used on sheep as well as cattle. So I'm just going to say that this was used on cattle for this particular treatment. You'll notice once again that the treatment date is preset to today's date. So if it was, yesterday or a couple of days ago that the vet was maybe out on the farm, you can change the date back. Now the course is something maybe you want to pick up on here, Chris. I know it's like 1 day.
It's very easy. You just matter of selecting there on the 1 day. So your vet will tell you what the course of your treatment is for this animal. So by clicking on the course there, you can up the course to the animal. So if it's 4 days, and then the system will say calculate out with the withdrawals then and remind you when the animal's out with withdrawals on the basis of that.
It's super handy as well because it means you don't have to create, if the animal was being treated for 3 days or 4 days in a row, it saves you having to create a separate treatment for each single one. So this is going to do it all in one go for you. So really, really handy, time saving, and just making things a lot easier to do as well. So administered by here, you can select your vet, dose per animal per day. So with 25 ml of that particular medicine or whatever it might be, you just select this. Now, obviously, with the vet call outs, it's crucial and it's really important that you're adding in, or checking with your vet what are the withdrawal periods, if you're dairy, what are your milk withdrawal, and obviously if you're beef, what are the meat withdrawals, or if both are applicable. So, it's just crucial that you select whatever the withdrawals are on those medicines and you pop that in there, because as Chris was saying, what it's going to do, it's going to calculate, 4 days from each time you use it to say, here's when the withdrawal period ends for milk, and the same for meat with the 18 days. Because it's a prescription medicine, you're going to have to select your vet as well. That's required for compliance, where you got the medicine from. And as before, there's plenty of optional fields here. Everything from, treatment reason, if there was a particular reason that the cow or the vet was out treating the animal, if it was pneumonia or whatever is going on this time of the year, you can select that. And you can also say whether the treatment was successful or not. Vet call out, if it was, tubing for mastitis, for argument's sake, you can select the quarters maybe that were selected too. And as we said a couple of minutes ago, you can also add an image as well. So if you get the docket or the slip off the vet, you can just take a picture straight away and it's added to that record too. Or if there's anything that maybe even a picture of the animal itself, you can add it to that particular record. Once you're happy, you click next. And the same as before, it's so quick and so easy to find the animal. So if it's just one animal, it's always the best advice here is just pop in their tag number, the last couple of digits at the top. Just select the animal here. You see it's selected. It'll tell you at the bottom one animal is selected, and you can just save. With the vet callouts, you do have to review the purchase. So you can just select OK here, and it's just asking you to confirm that the purchase was actually for 100 ml. So if you're happy with that, you can just hit save. And that's your vet call out, which is almost like your bottle of Alamycin and the animal that was used on, all merged into one and recorded. Same as before, that's going to cover you for your farm quality assurance, for your quality assurance here in Ireland. And it's so quick and so easy to do, So this is something that can be done, as the vet is out or as you're on farm. Next thing we're going to talk about is, okay, so we've recorded all our medicines into the app. How do we actually get that information back when we have our inspection, or we get the phone call that, you know, there's somebody calling to the farm, or you have your remote audit coming up in the next couple of weeks. So, Chris, do you want to maybe show or maybe talk people through how they run the reports, how they got that information back in preparation for their audit?
Yep. So just here on your home screen, you'll see the 6 main titles. So if you select on reports, you'll see here for Ireland, we have an option for Board B audit. Now with UK and Northern Ireland, there's an option there for, say, your farm quality assurance or your red tractor. So once you click on this option here, all the reports that are relevant for your audit will be displaying. So like your remedy usage report, once you click on the report here, you can input the 2 dates and the period that you want to run the report between. Once you select run at the top of the page, it's emailed directly across to you.
Yeah.
And whether it's an online audit or it's an on-site audit, you can print out the report from your emails, or else you can attach the file onto your, say, your online upload for the audit.
Yeah. So just a little tip there as well is I've sent that report to myself. Now that's going to send me everything. So as Chris was saying, you know, if your audit period is for, you know, in Ireland, I know Board B, it might be 18 months. You know, you can just select the dates that you want the information for. So it's not sending you absolutely everything you've recorded in Herdwatch if you're maybe using the app for a couple of years. But it's as simple as that. As Chris said, once you run that report, you'll receive the email within a couple of minutes, and you can then print that off in preparation when your inspector arrives on farm, or if it's a remote audit, you can obviously use whatever link or whatever means they've given you to upload information very quickly and very easily. Just for maybe for our UK people that are tuned in and watching us as well, our compliance audits do include the medicine disposals report too. So I know that that's a very important report as part of your farm quality assurance. So we're just logged into an Irish herd here at the moment. So that's why you wouldn't see some of those options when we get into the reports area. Okay, so that's pretty much our demo in terms of how to use the app for your medicines recording. I know I can see there's some questions coming in. So like I said at the start, if you do have any questions for myself or for Chris around, you know, putting stuff in there or how can you make changes or anything like that, you know, feel free to pop them in. We're going to answer as many as we can in a couple of minutes time. We're just going to move across and spend a couple of minutes maybe showing you some of the new stuff that we've been working on in Herdwatch and some of the new features that have come in, you know, this year particularly. I know we've, as I said, mentioned previously, we've had webinars around our grass and crops and our farm maps. We've also had a webinar recently on, you know, dedicated to our dairy farmers around our milk module and our milk performance, which is a very, very handy feature. So, Chris, I'm going to go into performance here, but I'm going to let you maybe tell everybody about a couple of the things that we've been working on here.
So with our performance module here, so it'll show kind of differently based on what type of farm you have. So for the likes of a beef suckler farm, your weights and livestock sales and purchases will show. With dairy, you'll get the option of your milk accordance and your bulk tank connections. With your weights here, once you click into your weight section, it'll show all weights that have been recorded on the farm. And you'll just see below the tag number there, it has the average data gain based on the last weight recorded against that animal. When you click into a weight there, it'll show all the details and more kind of in further detail. So it'll show your previous weight date, the animal's latest weight and that date, who the weight recording was performed by, and your average daily gain. And from here, then you can go into the animal's profile directly as well.
Yeah. So I suppose the beauty of having this information so at hand as well is what Herdwatch is doing here. It's helping you to make, you know, better decisions as well. So if you see that animal is gaining, you know, not quick enough or too fast, it helps you to make a decision on do I need to give this animal more feed or do I need to pull back? So that's the beauty of having this information so quickly and so easy in Herdwatch. You can make your decision in a split second of what needs to happen next with that particular animal or with a group of animals. And, you know, as we discussed in more detail on our milk module webinar, you know, we get the milk records now. You know, if you're in Ireland, it's from ICBF. In the UK, Chris, I know, who is it that we link
NMR and CIS.
Yeah, so we're linking in with both NMR, CIS in the UK. That's going to pull all your milk records into the app. So you're going to be able to see how cows are performing in terms of milk KPIs, but also helps you to make better decisions. You know, maybe if some cows are high on somatic cell count, you know, you can help you to make maybe a decision around culling or a decision around treatments such as selective dry cow, etc. So that's the beauty of Herdwatch. The information is there, and straight away you're going to start making better decisions on your farm, you know, without having to go back, trawl through paperwork or make phone calls.
With the bulk tank collection there, that's a new feature in now. So when your bulk tank collection, you can add the record, see when you get your results back. So as you can see here, if we click in there on, has dates in your collection date, the amount of liters, and has also your other information you can input, like your proteins, your fats, your lactose, your temperatures, your somatic cell count as well can be inputted there. So it's handy just to keep a note of it in the app when you do get the results back.
Lovely. Thanks, Chris. We might just move over, Chris, and just focus on the animal profile itself, because I know we've made a lot of changes to that. So if I was to select an animal here, if you want to maybe just give people a quick overview of what we've done here.
So you can see here the layout has slightly changed now on the animal profiles going forward. So the first thing you might notice now, there's the profile picture element. You can add your picture record to the animal's profile. So it's handy there, say, if you want to identify the animals by picture in their profiles. Now, there's new tiles available then on the profile. So we have milk performance, and there's management, breeding performance, and identification.
And you can drill into each one of these as well, Chris, can't you? So
yeah. So you can see here that it shows the last meat withdrawal and milk withdrawal for this animal. Okay. And then it has the total amount of days in herd as well here.
So really, really handy if you're down on farm. If you're looking at that particular animal, you can just pop in their tag number and you can pull up whatever information you need to see on that animal straight away. And look, we know every farmer has their favorite animals too, and so you can get those pictures added in, the images added to. But another thing that we've added there too that we maybe forgot to mention is now you have the ability to share that information as well. So you can see that there's a share option here on the animal. That's going to allow you to share it with, other farmers that you're friendly with. If you're thinking of buying or selling animals, it helps you to share information, so that others can see, all that information before they make a decision maybe. So it's so quick and so easy to do now that you can share that information about that animal if you'd like to do that too.
Just to note here as well, on the history tab on top, any say previous treatments that are against the animal, they'll show here. As well, if you want to link into the animal's progeny as well, that'll all show on the animal's profile. So it's a nice way to kind of link which animals are linked on the farm.
Yeah, what cows and calves are linked together. Perfect. Just going on to just to stay with the picture records as well for another minute, Chris. I just wanted to show people that I think we had an example of actually adding the likes of on a medicine purchase. You can, like I said, if you have the script with you, you can always add that in. Even if it's something where you maybe didn't have the time to add in all the information, you could just snap a quick picture, and you can go back to that picture then later, where maybe you didn't have time to put in the purchase date, the correct purchase date, or put in the correct withdrawals. And you can just check the picture, and then you obviously have the option up here to edit and update that information and correct it all when you have the time. Your
picture records can be added in on multiple different tasks in the app now, as well as say your feed purchases. So say if you're after buying feed off your local supplier, when you're adding in your feed purchase now as well, you can add in a picture, whether it be of the feed or of the docket once you receive it.
Yeah. Brilliant. So look, at this stage, Chris, I think questions have been popping in there fairly steady. They're fairly popular, Chris. So we might actually just start covering a couple of these questions that have come in. So the first question is actually for yourself, Chris, if you don't mind taking it. It's a question from Michael. Michael is just asking, do you still need to enter information into the medicines book when you're using Herdwatch?
No, so your Herdwatch app will become, say, your medicine book for your audit. So when it comes around to your inspection, your reports can be run off directly from the app, and that's fully compliant for your inspection on farm, whether it be aboard BIA, Red Tractor, or Farm Quality Assurance. Now there's multiple different schemes, say across UK and Northern Ireland, and our reports are fully compliant for them.
Okay, thanks, Chris. The next question is from Tony. Tony's just asked, in the case of a vet call-out, are they supposed to give you a prescription for any medicines supplied? So what you'll notice pretty quickly, Tony, if you go down the route that myself and Chris showed you in terms of the vet call-out task, if you go to save that medicine without your vet on it, it'll tell you pretty much straight away whether this is a POM, which is a prescription-only medicine. So you'll know by clicking on that button, if you see that warning, that's a prescription medicine, so you should have definitely received a prescription from your vet in order to have that medicine. But generally, you know, when the vet is calling out to the farm, he should be able to do you up a little script or give you a script for that particular medicine, so that you can, you know, take it away, add it into Herdwatch very quickly, and, you know, cover yourself for your actual compliance recording. Next question is from Joe. I'm going to let you handle this one as well, Chris. It's just, how do you record a treatment for an animal that may have left the farm?
Okay, so in our smart list, so we might go through this in a bit of a demo one.
Okay.
So if you go into, once you press your plus sign and you go into your cattle treatment and you select your treatment, so we'll go with the end of fluke again.
Yeah, so we'll run through this fairly quick because we've done it already. I don't think we need to change anything else there.
So once you come into your animal selection, if you click into your smart list, you can see here at the top of the list we have moved out. Now on the side, you're able to favorite your list up and to where you want your preference at the top. And so once you click into your moved out list, these are all the animals that have left your herd. So whether it be recently moved out, you'll be able to click it or select it from the list straight away, or else you can use the search icon in the right hand corner, search the tag number.
Yeah, so there's loads of filter options within this where you can find, you know, by the reason they moved out, you know, where they moved, or what age they were, gender, or purpose, you know, so there's so many other options here. And you can just, the selection process itself is the same. You just select the animal and you can save. And you just save that record there. And that's your treatment recorded for any animals that have moved out. So I hope that answers your question, Joe. Next question, Chris. Sarah is asking, can treatments be split, i.e. can separate treatments list for dairy cows and for young stock? Or what's the best way to do that, Chris?
For splitting treatments, is it?
Yeah, so I suppose I think what Sarah is asking is there a way to record, you know, it's a separate treatment, but for dairy cows and for young stock? It's probably, Sarah, something we were just chatting about there. I think using your smart list and your filters is probably the quickest way, or obviously if you have, you know, created groups before. So you've seen on the first treatment that we recorded, we actually had our calves in a group already. So it made it very quick and easy for us to select those animals or that group of animals on a treatment. But you can also have your cows in a group as well, or your heifers, you know, and it makes it very quick and very, very straightforward and easy to actually record a treatment and just select that particular group of animals. Now, if you don't have the groups created, you know, when you pop in here, I know Chris mentioned a few minutes ago, you can go to your smart lists. You can see that we've starred the moved out list because we're looking at that all the time. So you can actually favorite or star any of these other smart lists and they're going to appear at the top for you all the time. But, you know, all these are built to help you to find particular groups of animals, you know. So, you know, you might have a group here for cows not dried, or for maybe, to answer your question here as well, you have dairy animals, you know. So this herd might actually have 65 cows there that you can find them very quickly. And when you do, you can, if you select the plus button from here, you have an option to select those 65 animals from the list. And then you can just select your cattle treatment again and go through the steps that myself and Chris selected. So you select your medicine next, and those animals. So if I was to go endo fluke here again, administered by myself, when I select next, you can see that the 65 animals have already been selected, and all I'm having to do is actually hit save. So that would be my cows done. And then you create a separate treatment and start from either your calves group or just record the treatment. And when you go click next, just navigate into your actual groups, select the group, and job done. So that's just taking a little while to save, but hopefully that answers your question, Sarah. If it doesn't, feel free to come back with another one. We'll try and help you out. Claire is asking, is there somewhere you can go to look back at the previous webinars? There is, of course, Claire. The best thing to do here is if you pop over to YouTube and just search Herdwatch on YouTube, and probably it's a good idea if you're set up with a Google account to just subscribe to Herdwatch, because you'll get access to all our videos. Then all our webinars are loaded up on YouTube, so that would include any previous webinars we've done on, you know, medicines, farm maps we've done recently, milk recording, and loads and loads of other videos and tutorials are to be found there, and you can watch them back obviously as much as you like. Chris Doug is asking, can you put Herdwatch on multiple phones? If so, how is this done?
Yep. So your Herdwatch account can be, say, downloaded onto your computer, your iPad, or say if there's a few phones in the farm. So it's only a matter of downloading your Herdwatch app and say logging in on a different device with the same login details.
Okay, thanks. John has a question for me, probably for both of us here, Chris. So John said he's recording a fertility treatment where there's a gap between the treatments. So maybe he's recording, one today and one in maybe 3 or 5 or 6 weeks time. So can you upload this in one visit to the app? And he's also asking, can you please demo repeat? So we'll certainly do that for you, John. So the answer to your question is yes, John. It's actually very straightforward to do these things in Herdwatch. So the first thing you're going to have to do is obviously record the original treatment on the original date. So if we were to use one of the ones we've already used here this evening, for argument's sake. So if I used to pop in from the home screen, click into compliance, remedies, and in the middle tab, you'll see that you have treatments here. So any of these treatments that I've recorded already, John, I can click on these, okay? And if I was to do the same thing again, if I go plus button, I have 2 options here, John. First thing you're saying is repeat. So if I just select repeat here, it allows me to basically do a carbon copy of that medicine treatment, and I can just select the end of fluke and the next date that I used it, next, and save. The other thing you can do, I'm just going to go back here for a second to show you something else too. The other thing you can do as well is if animals are receiving, multiple treatments or different medicines on the same date, the same group of animals, what you can do is when you basically record the first treatment, so for argument's sake, this group of 65, I can click on this treatment, and if I go plus, I can select those 65 animals and reselect cattle treatment and use a different medicine. So if they were getting, it's ideal for maybe dairy farmers that are maybe drying cows off with tubes and sealers. You can just select the cows on the dry off, and then when you have that saved, you can just hit the plus, select all those cows again, and select a new treatment where you select your sealer. So it's a really, really handy way of selecting the same group of animals on multiple treatments. So I hope that kind of answers your question, John. But like I said, feel free to come back to us if you have anything else. So one for you, Chris, from Michael. Michael's just asking, how do you record dry offs for a sealer only?
So for a sealer, it's following the same procedures with the medicine. So if you want to press the plus sign there on. Yep. And we're going into your...
You probably need to still do your purchase record first, Michael, for the actual sealer as well. So based on, I think, the sealer you're using, or what would maybe Bovie sealer. There's so many out there, but like if it was any of the sealers, Keprevin for your dry cow tube. But if you just select whatever sealer it is that you're using, Michael, you do the purchase record first. Select obviously the number of tubes that you bought, save that, and then just create a new treatment. Now, a little top tip is obviously if you're just still using the sealers on their own, Michael, just make sure within the treatment that you actually select dry off, because if you're based in Ireland, that treatment record will then be sent over to ICBF for you straight away too. So it saves you have a job of having to record, the dry off separately on ICBF. Just while we're on dry offs as well, if any farmers out there are just drying cows off naturally, you can record that in Herdwatch as well via the plus button. There is a natural dry off option where you maybe haven't used the tubes or sealers at all. So you just want to record that you've dried off the cows. So as you scroll across, you'll see that there's plenty of other options here that you can actually record. Everything is there from, all your treatments, weight records, sprays as well. But you can see that one of the options here is natural dry off. So that's an option that you can use if you haven't used, antibiotics or tubes on the cows. So hope that answers your question, Michael. Question from Mary here, Chris. Mary is asking, can you delete a group when you make up other groups listing? Can you delete a group when you make up groups using animals in previous groups?
Yeah, so you can deactivate the group. So if when you go into My Herd and you select on groups and you click into your group, once you click into the group, if you select the 3 dots in the top right hand corner, it gives you an option to deactivate that group.
Yeah.
And then you can go forward and say create your new group for that year ahead. Or
yeah.
You can also edit the group and remove animals from it.
Yeah.
If you know there's animals in that group that have left, you're able to remove them.
Yeah. So you can just edit next. You can see at the bottom here, Mary, that your 20 animals are selected, and you can just deselect animals whatever way you like, and you can resave it. There is an option there, you might have seen it when I clicked on the three buttons as well. There's an option to automatically remove animals that have left the herd too. So the app will do that for you automatically. But maybe your question is also, if you put animals into one group, do they come out of another? So the answer to that is no, Mary. So they'll actually stay, animals can obviously be in multiple groups. So if you had 2 different groups that the same animals are in, just because you create a new group, they'll still stay in the old group. So you do have to edit that group manually and remove them if they're no longer, like if you had a heifers group that are now cows, you can either deactivate the group or change that group, or add those heifers into the cows group and maybe remove your heifers group. Hope that answers your question, Mary. So another one for yourself from Christy here. Your namesake, Chris. Christy is asking, how do you deal with a treatment that is not listed in Herdwatch, or medicine that's not listed in Herdwatch?
So if your treatment's not listed in Herdwatch, we have the option there that you can select other. So it can be other cattle or other sheep. So the same procedure when you're going through your medicine purchase, your remedy purchase. But at the top of the list, you can see here, we have other cattle only, sheep only, cattle and sheep, or then for another or other animal. So when you click on, say, for cattle only, you fill out your details same as your normal medicine purchase, but in the notes section at the bottom, you can put in the name of the medicine that you're purchasing, or the treatment, and then that will save as the name on, say, in your cabinet.
And show on your reports as well.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers your question, Christy. If you do, it should be rare enough to be honest, because we should have most of the approved medicines in there, but it does happen the odd time. If you can't find the medicine by typing in the name or scanning, just select other cattle only, or obviously if there's sheep farmers watching, make sure you select other sheep only, and then just follow the normal procedures, and it'll save and it'll allow you to use it there straight away. Moving on, Aidan is asking, if cattle are gone out of your herd, can you fill in? Sorry, I didn't see that, Aidan. So I hope you might have seen the way we demoed that maybe a couple of minutes ago, Aidan. So yeah, absolutely, you can record treatments for animals that have left your herd. Just start off the normal process, create your treatment record, and when you get to the animals, just navigate to smart lists and move out again. And any animals that have left your herd will be shown for you here. So even if an animal left, in the last week and you forgot to record a treatment for them, don't be panicking. That's how you can do it there very quickly and very, very easily.
Just a note there on with the watchboard.
Yeah.
So once you put in your treatment, the app will start to track your withdrawals. Now as you can see here, there's 102 animals in withdrawals at the moment.
Yeah.
And to break it down between your cows and cattle. So it's very easy there to kind of track. If you're selling animals and you want a quick way of checking if the animals within the withdrawal period, just go into your watchboard and you'll be able to check for the animal there.
Yeah, perfect. Question from Helen here. Chris, Helen's asking, is there a report available in Herdwatch with all the medicines in Herdwatch to compare to the medicines that are on the farm? So I think it's basically it's probably what you're looking for here. I'd say, Helen, is like a report on what's currently in your cabinet in Herdwatch, I'd imagine.
In your cabinet as well, you can, if you select the 3 dots in your top right hand corner, you're able to see used, so include your empty medicines.
Yeah, so once all the quantity of medicine has been used, it automatically disappears out of your cabinet to keep it tidy. So you can see some of the ones that we've used here before that are now all gone. So I think the quickest thing for you to do there, Helen, is basically when you pop into your cabinet here, that's essentially what you have in Herdwatch is kind of what should be in your cabinet, unless you've maybe forgotten to put a medicine in there that you can add them in. And in the reports area, let me just see, is there, off the top of my head, might be sprays returned. Don't know if there is actually via report option there, Helen, but I can come back to you on that one. But hopefully that even, finding the cabinet there is something that helps you very quickly, Helen. Generally, whatever is in your cabinet on Herdwatch is essentially what you should have on farm, or medicines on hand. Just a couple of seconds. There might be a couple more questions here, Chris. James is just sending me 1 or 2 over. So somebody's asking, maybe if you want to take this one as well, Chris, how do you set up a group?
Okay, so if you go into My Herd and screen here.
So you have 2 options here. You can start from the My Herd, obviously, or else, as we were saying, start with your plus button. So like generally, I know we said it at the start, but like whenever you want to kind of add something new, if you start at your plus, you're not going to go too far wrong because it gives you the option of everything, So if you can't see it on the first screen, you can just scroll across until you find what you want. You can see here's the option that you're looking for there, which is create group.
You can add your title here for your group.
So even if you just wanted to, cows, next. And this is where you can actually, I know we haven't discussed the filters there, but you can click on the search and filter based on loads of different things. So, gender, you can just go your females, apply, and your age, you could go from, say, even 30 months. Just show me all the females in my herd over 30 months. And it's telling me there's 92 of those. I can select them all and save. And that's basically creating that group of cows. And once that group is there, you can use it straight away to record your treatments or any other events or tasks that might have happened for that particular group. The last question we have here, Chris, is can we quickly show how to record some sheep treatments? So we can indeed. Very quick and easy to do as well. It's fairly similar to the cattle treatment overall. But when you click in here, you can see that you have cattle treatment. Now, sheep treatment is not showing up straight away, so you might have to scroll across to sheep treatment here. And here, obviously, Endofluke is a medicine that can be used in both your cattle and sheep. So you need to make sure, first and foremost, that you have your medicine in there. Select it. It's a little bit different here to the cattle in that there's no next, because you don't actually have the flock details are not in the app currently. So you don't actually go next and select the tag numbers of sheep that have been treated or dosed. So all you have to do is pick your date you use the medicine. If there's a course administered by Chris or whoever it was on the farm. And then the important thing here is the number of sheep. So if you were maybe dosing a group of lambs, or hoggets or whatever might be going on, you can just stick in the number that you've done, and then that will use up 50 by your dose rate, which is 10. So it's going to use 500 ml of your Endofluke here. If it's 1 or 2 sick animals, you can obviously pop in, the tag numbers or the end of the tag numbers here, but generally just put in, your little note, all lambs, and you can just hit the save. Same thing, you have an option to add your image as well if you have the script, or if you have, the receipt, if you bought medicine off the vet to use on the sheep. So I think that's pretty much it for the Q&A, Chris. There is 1 or 2 other things we want to show everybody. We have a couple of sample reports here just to show you, what it looks like when you actually run the reports and get the email. So I might just show everybody that. So I'm just going to go back here. So what we have here is just a sample medicine purchase report. Now, I know it's maybe a little bit hard to see on the screen, but it gives you all the information in detail of everything that you've purchased, so all the medicines going back for the time period that you selected. And it has everything from the name of the medicine, the date you bought it, and withdrawal periods. Do you want to maybe take this one, Chris?
With your medicine treatment report, it'll give you a breakdown of your different treatment uses. So say whether it be ascites treatments, dry offs, lameness, vaccines. It'll give an overview, say at the start of the report, and then your report will display the breakdown of every treatment done within the period that you'd selected already.
Lovely stuff. And we're just about there. So before we wrap, I just want to tell you a little bit about our Refer a Friend scheme that we have in place. So it actually couldn't be easier, as you can see on the screen, to actually refer other people to Herdwatch and get yourself looked after with some of the Herdwatch gear and goodies that we have to offer. So you just need to tell your friends about Herdwatch. They just need to download the app and set up a free account and get their animals synced in there. And once they do that, you can fill out, you can see here herdwatch.com/awards. You can pop over there, you stick in the name of the person that you're after referring, and once we can see that they've created an account, you get your points there, and you can pick anything from jackets and bottles to the wellies, and we have the overalls and everything else there. Coming into the winter, ideal time of the year to get your hands on some of this gear. So it couldn't be easier. There's no limit on the amount of people you refer either. So the more you refer, the more stuff you can potentially get. So keep an eye on that, and if you have any friends that you think Herdwatch would be beneficial to them, just let them know. And I suppose that's the end of today's webinar. So I'd just like to say a big thank you to everybody that tuned in this evening. Hopefully you got some knowledge around how easy and quick it is to put medicines in there. Obviously, if we didn't manage to get to your questions, or if you have any more questions, you can drop us a message within the app. Use the message center itself. You can see our numbers are on screen here. If you're in Ireland, you can give us a call. Obviously in the UK as well, the numbers are there. Drop us a call or give us a call. Our support team are there to help. Or use our message center, as I said. If you haven't managed to download the new version of the app, just make sure you have that up to date. And yeah, thanks a million for watching. Chris, thanks very much for your time as well. We'll be back pretty soon, I'd say, with another webinar. But yeah, thanks very much, sorry, to everybody, and we'll see you all again soon.